Ladies and gentlemen, today you're going to awaken a power inside you that has been waiting, silently, patiently, for you to claim it. A power that can transform your finances, your future, and the way you walk through life. Because the truth is simple, you do not chase money. Money responds to you. Money follows the direction of your mind. Everything begins with thought. When you think rich, you ignite the first spark of prosperity. Your thoughts are not empty clouds drifting across your mind. No, your thoughts are architects. They draft the blueprint of your financial life. When you think, I can never get ahead, your mind obeys. When you think, I am open to wealth, I welcome abundance, I expect success, your mind obeys that too, and the universe shapes itself according to the image you hold within. Now let us speak of words. Your words are not harmless noise. Your words are commands, vibrations, spiritual orders that construct your reality. Every time you say, money is hard to earn, life never improves, I'm always struggling, you plant seeds of lack and those seeds grow faithfully. But when you speak with power, I am richly supplied. Everything I need arrives on time. Money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways. You call financial blessings toward you with the authority of a creator. Speak rich, and life has no choice but to obey. Asterisk, but thought and speech alone are not enough. You must expect wealth. Asterisk, expectation is a silent force. The moment you expect something, as surely as the sun will rise tomorrow, the universe rearranges itself to deliver it. Some people hope to be wealthy. Hoping is weak. Some people wish for money. Wishing is passive. But the one who expects prosperity, who wakes up with a calm knowing, who walks with the quiet confidence that good is on its way, that person becomes unstoppable. Expectation is the bridge between your desire and its arrival. Release fear, release doubt, release self-limitation. Fear is the great thief of fortune. Doubt shuts doors that were opening for you. Self-criticism kills opportunities before they even reach your hands. You cannot think rich while pulling yourself down. You cannot speak rich while speaking against yourself. You cannot become rich while being loyal to your limitations. So today, declare this. Every fear dissolves, every doubt disappears. I rise into wealth with courage. Asterisk, now listen closely. Your imagination is sacred. Asterisk, everything you want already exists as an image in your mind. When you visualize abundance, when you see yourself living in freedom, paying your bills with ease, giving generously, you are not daydreaming. You are constructing your future. Hold the vision. Bless the vision. Walk toward the vision, and soon you will walk inside the vision. And what of gratitude? Gratitude is the multiplier of miracles. A grateful mind is fertile soil for more blessings. When you appreciate what you have, even the smallest thing, you signal to the universe, I am ready for more. Gratitude keeps your heart open, your energy high, and your path clear. Be clear, be bold, be deserving. Money loves clarity. It does not enter confusion. Know what you want, know why you want it, and believe with your entire being that you deserve it. You are not asking for too much. You are only asking for what your soul already knows is yours. Asterisk, and finally, become the version of yourself who is already wealthy. Asterisk, walk like them, think like them, speak like them, make decisions like them. When your inner identity becomes rich, the world mirrors it back in opportunities, ideas, money, and miracles. Think rich, speak rich, become rich. This is not just a phrase, it is a law. It is a path. It is the doorway to your greatest financial destiny. Step through it today and watch your entire life rise into abundance. The mind is the gateway through which all prosperity enters your life, and your dominant thoughts form an invisible magnet that either pulls money toward you or pushes it away. Most people believe money is something they chase, something they work endlessly to capture, something that exists outside of them, far away, guarded, difficult, reserved only for the lucky or the chosen. They imagine money as a mountain they must climb or a door they must break open. But the truth is far more powerful and far more liberating. Money is not an external mountain, it is an internal current. It flows toward the mind that is aligned with it, the mind that welcomes it, the mind that thinks in harmony with abundance. The mind is the beginning of wealth, the birthplace of opportunity, the seedbed where every form of prosperity is first planted long before it appears in the physical world. Every thought you repeat becomes a signal, a broadcast, a vibration that goes out into the unseen world and draws back experiences that match it. When you think thoughts of struggle, your energy tightens, your creativity shuts down, and your intuition becomes dull. You fail to see the solutions right in front of you because your inner world has already decided that struggle is all you are allowed to receive. When your mind believes money is scarce, you can stand in front of 1,000 opportunities and walk past all of them without recognizing their value. But when your mind believes money is abundant, when you have trained it to think in the direction of prosperity, your perception shifts. You notice possibilities you once ignored. You see openings where others see obstacles. You interpret challenges as invitations to grow. You attract people who elevate you, ideas that inspire you, and circumstances that align with your financial growth. This is because the mind is not passive. It is not simply a container of random thoughts. It is a creative instrument, constantly shaping your reality. Your dominant thoughts become the blueprint for the conditions that appear in your life. If you think rich, you begin to act in ways that support richness. You carry yourself differently. You speak with certainty. You make decisions that reflect faith instead of fear. You invest in yourself because you trust your ability to grow. You handle money wisely because you expect more to come. Your entire posture shifts from survival mode to expansion mode. And when this inner shift happens, money naturally begins to respond to you. People often overlook this invisible power because they have been conditioned to believe that money is purely logical, based on hours worked, luck gained, or circumstances inherited. But you can meet two people with the same skills, the same education, and the same opportunities, and one will create wealth while the other struggles for decades. The difference is not talent, the difference is not luck. The difference is not timing. The difference is the mindset they maintained when life presented them with choices. One thinks there is always a way, and so they find a way. The other thinks, I never catch a break, and so even when opportunities pass by, they are unable to receive them. Wealth begins in the realm of thought long before it appears in the realm of matter. Thoughts function like magnets. Whatever you dwell upon, whether consciously or unconsciously, moves toward you. When you think of bills constantly, you attract more bills. When you think of lack, you attract more lack. When you obsess over fear, you attract situations that validate that fear. But when you anchor your mind in abundance, you invite abundance to reveal itself. Prosperity is not something you deserve only when you achieve a certain level of success. It is something that becomes available the moment you align your mind with it. The mind is the bridge between the life you have and the life you desire. Think of the mind as a garden. The thoughts you plant become the plants that grow. If you plant weeds of worry, jealousy, limitation, and self-criticism, your internal garden becomes overrun with scarcity. But if you plant seeds of confidence, gratitude, faith, courage, and vision, your garden becomes fertile, vibrant, and full of life. These thoughts bear fruit in the form of financial breakthroughs, unexpected opportunities, and transformative ideas. The garden of the mind is always responding to the seeds you place within it, and money flows most easily to the mind that has been cultivated to receive it. What most people don't understand is that money responds to the emotional tone behind your thoughts. A thought soaked in fear repels abundance. A thought filled with faith attracts it. If you think, I want more money, but the feeling beneath the thought is desperation, the universe hears the desperation louder than the desire. But if you think, I am richly supplied, and the emotion behind that thought is trust, ease, and expectation, you activate a powerful creative force that pulls wealth toward you. Your emotional energy gives your thoughts their magnetic power. This is why the inner world must be tended with care. You cannot allow your mind to be ruled by old beliefs that no longer serve you. beliefs about what you're worthy of, beliefs about what you're allowed to receive, beliefs passed down by parents, communities, and experiences that came from fear rather than truth. A mind that is rich in belief becomes rich in reality. A mind that refuses to limit itself becomes a magnet for limitless abundance. You do not need to force yourself to become wealthy. You need only remove the thoughts that prevent wealth from entering. The moment you understand that your mind is the gateway to prosperity, everything changes. You begin to take responsibility for the direction of your thoughts. You stop allowing negative patterns to dominate your inner world. You choose empowering ideas not because they sound positive, but because they carry the vibration of the life you want to create. You begin to speak to yourself with authority. You begin to imagine yourself living in abundance. You begin to expect good things, trust the process, and move with confidence. You think rich, and richness becomes your natural state of mind. And when richness becomes your natural state of mind, it becomes your natural state of life. Words are creative forces. Every sentence you speak becomes a command to the universe. When your language aligns with abundance, your outer world shifts toward wealth. Most people speak without awareness, without care, without understanding the immense power hidden inside their everyday language. They treat words as casual expressions, harmless opinions, or emotional reactions. But words are not empty, words are not weak, words are not accidental. Every word you release carries energy, intention, vibration, and direction. It is as if each sentence you speak sends out an invisible instruction, shaping the conditions of your life. Your words are building your future even when you are not paying attention. When you speak in the language of abundance, confidence, ease, and expectancy, you call forth experiences that match those vibrations. But when you speak in the language of fear, limitation, struggle, and doubt, you create barriers that block prosperity from entering your life. Most people never realize that they are cursing their own success with their own tongue. They say things like, "I never have enough," "Money slips through my fingers," "Life is unfair," "I'm always struggling," and they believe these sentences describe their reality. In truth, these sentences are creating their reality. Words act like seeds planted in the soil of the universe. Speak long enough in the direction of scarcity, and your life will bear the fruit of scarcity. Speak long enough in the direction of abundance, and your life will begin to blossom with opportunities, ideas, and financial blessings. This is not superstition. This is not wishful thinking. This is a law operating in your life, whether you acknowledge it or not. The universe responds to the vibration behind your words, and abundance flows to those who call it with conviction. Think about how often people speak in frustration. "I can't afford this. Everything is getting worse. Money is so hard to make. That will never happen for me." They repeat these ideas daily, not realizing they are writing the script of their future. When you declare something with your voice, your subconscious mind receives it as instructions. Your subconscious does not question you. If you say, "I am broke," it begins aligning your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors to match that identity. If you say, "Money never stays with me," your subconscious begins sabotaging your decisions to fulfill that belief. But when you say, "I am richly supplied," it begins to open pathways inside you that lead to financial growth. The words you speak carve grooves in your mind. They train your nervous system to expect certain outcomes. They influence your mood, your confidence, your decisions, and your intuition. A person who constantly speaks negatively about money cannot make money decisions with clarity because their own words have hypnotized them into believing in limitation. But a person who speaks abundantly walks with a different posture. Their voice carries assurance. Their energy carries possibility. Their decisions carry power. They attract opportunities because people feel the confidence in their presence. Your words are a form of spiritual currency. They pay for the experiences that come to you. Speak rich, and richness begins to assemble itself around your life. speak poor, and poverty tightens its grip. Every word either opens or closes a door. Every sentence builds or destroys. You can speak yourself into misery, or you can speak yourself into miracles. The reason words carry such power is because spoken language is an outward expression of your inner beliefs. When you speak something aloud, you give it life, you amplify it, you reinforce it, and you align yourself with it. Even if a belief is not dominant in your mind, the moment you speak it repeatedly, it gains strength. A tiny fear spoken aloud becomes a powerful force. A small doubt spoken often becomes a cage, but a simple affirmation spoken consistently becomes a new reality. Words build momentum, and momentum builds manifestation. The shift begins when you start paying attention to how you speak about money. Listen to yourself. Do you speak with fear or with faith? Do you speak with lack or with abundance? Do you speak as a servant of your circumstances or as a creator of your future? Imagine two people standing in the same situation. One says, "I don't know how, but everything will work out for me," while the other says, "Nothing ever works." Both are correct, not because life favors one over the other, but because each is commanding the universe to fulfill their spoken expectation. The universe responds not to your wishes, but to your declarations. This is why you must speak with precision. Speak only what you want to experience. Speak only what lifts you. Speak only what aligns with your financial destiny. Even if you do not yet see abundance, speak abundance. Even if your bank account is low, speak as someone who trusts in the arrival of prosperity. This is not lying to yourself. This is aligning yourself with a higher truth, the truth of possibility, the truth of expectation, the truth of spiritual law. Your words must become a sanctuary of power, not a playground for doubt. If you want to change your finances, change the way you talk about finances. Replace phrases of limitation with phrases of expansion. Replace sentences of fear with sentences of courage. Replace the language of stress with the language of certainty. Say, "Money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways." Say, "Every day, new opportunities find me." Say, "I am open to wealth and ready to receive." Say, "Life is on my side." These are not empty affirmations. They are commands sent into the creative field of the universe. The moment you claim these words, something shifts inside you. You begin to feel different. You begin to think differently. Your energy becomes lighter, clearer, and more aligned. Suddenly, ideas come to you effortlessly. People reach out, opportunities appear. Your creativity increases, your fear decreases. Why? Because the vibration of your words has changed the atmosphere of your life. You have spoken yourself into a space where abundance recognizes you, responds to you, and flows toward you. Speak rich, and you prepare the world to give you riches. Speak rich, and you prepare yourself to receive them. Expectation is a spiritual law. The life you confidently expect becomes the life you inevitably experience. Expectation is not a wish, not a hope, not a dream floating somewhere in the distance. Expectation is the deep inner knowing that something is on its way to you long before it arrives. It is the quiet conviction that your good is already unfolding, even when you cannot yet see the evidence. It is the invisible force that shapes circumstances, influences timing, and directs opportunities toward you with precision. People often confuse expecting with wanting, but wanting is weak. Wanting is a vibration of lack, a signal that says, "I do not have it yet." Expectation is the exact opposite. It carries the vibration of already receiving, already welcoming, already preparing for what is coming. When you expect abundance, you walk differently. You make decisions differently. You carry yourself with a confidence that others can feel. Your energy shifts into alignment with the life you are calling forth. And because your energy shifts, the outer world begins to rearrange itself to match your inner certainty. Expectation is a magnet. It draws toward you the things you believe are yours. Look at children waiting for something promised to them. They do not doubt, they do not question, they do not fear. They simply know it's coming. That same pure, unwavering trust is the essence of powerful expectation. When you expect wealth with that level of clarity, without anxiety, without hesitation, you become a natural attractor of prosperity. The universe responds to certainty. It does not respond to desperation. It does not respond to fear, but it rushes toward the person whose heart says, "It is done." Expectation determines your emotional atmosphere. When you expect difficulties, you walk into rooms bracing for conflict. When you expect failure, you sabotage yourself before you even begin. When you expect money to be hard to earn, every opportunity feels like a burden. But when you expect good, when you expect success, when you expect solutions, your entire nervous system relaxes into a state of receptivity. You become open, aware, intuitive. You begin to notice chances you would have overlooked. You take actions that align with abundance instead of actions rooted in fear. People think they need to change their outer circumstances to feel different, but the truth is the opposite. Change what you expect, and your circumstances will follow. If you expect rejection, you project insecurity and attract rejection. If you expect loss, you make decisions that lead to loss. But if you expect expansion, you radiate confidence and attract opportunities that match it. Life mirrors your expectations with extraordinary accuracy. Expectation also changes the way you interpret the events around you. When a person expects abundance and faces a setback, they see it as temporary, as a lesson, as a stepping stone. They are not shaken easily because their inner world has already accepted success as inevitable. But when a person expects difficulty, even a small inconvenience becomes proof that life is against them. Their mind collects evidence that supports their expectation, and so the cycle continues. This is why expectation is not just a belief. It is a filter through which you view the world. It shapes your reactions, your emotions, your choices, and your possibilities. Two people can walk through the same door and experience two different realities because one walks in expecting good and the other walks in expecting the worst. Expectation determines perception, and perception determines experience. You can often tell what a person expects by how they speak. You can hear expectation in their tone. You can sense it in their posture. You can feel it in their presence. Someone who expects to prosper does not complain about lack. They do not worry about every detail. They do not speak limitations into existence. Instead, they move with a calm confidence, a quiet strength, a subtle assurance that life is working in their favor. Even when they cannot see the solution, they trust that the solution is already forming. Expectation is not blind optimism. It is spiritual alignment. It is the recognition that your desires carry meaning, that your intuition guides you, that the universe responds to your inner state. It is a partnership between your belief and the unseen forces that shape your life. When you set an expectation with clarity, the universe begins arranging the people, ideas, and opportunities that are required to fulfill it. You may not know how. You do not need to know how. The how is not your burden. The how is the universe's responsibility. Your responsibility is to hold the expectation firmly, confidently, consistently. People sabotage themselves when they expect too little. They shrink their dreams to match their doubts. They limit their desires because they fear disappointment. They lower their expectations to avoid the pain of waiting. But in doing so, they also limit the blessings that could have been theirs. You cannot receive more than you expect. You cannot rise higher than the level of your belief. You cannot attract abundance while preparing for disappointment. The universe meets you at the level of your expectation. This is why you must expect something great to happen for you. Expect financial breakthroughs. Expect new opportunities. Expect doors to open. Expect the right people to show up. Expect ideas that elevate your income. Expect circumstances to shift in your favor. Expect miracles not as fantasy, but as natural expressions of your alignment. When expectation becomes your default state, your life becomes a canvas on which abundance paints freely. The power of expectation becomes even stronger when paired with calmness. Desperation blocks. Anxiety interrupts, fear delays, but calm expectation, quiet, steady, unwavering, creates a vibration that is irresistible to abundance. The energy of calmness signals trust, and trust is a magnet for prosperity. When you stop trying to force things and instead expect them, you unlock a higher level of manifestation. The moment you begin to expect good without attachment, without rushing, without fear, life starts moving in your favor with remarkable speed. Expectation turns your mind into a lighthouse that guides blessings toward you. It sends a signal that says, I am ready, I am open, I am aligned, and the universe responds with a resounding yes. Your expectation is the prophecy of your future. Whatever you truly expect, good or bad, begins shaping your path long before you see the results. Expect abundance, and abundance bows toward you. Expect success, and success starts seeking you. Expect wealth, and wealth begins moving in your direction. Fear, doubt, and self-criticism act as invisible blocks that cut off the flow of money. Releasing them restores your natural connection to abundance. Most people never realize that what keeps prosperity away is not a lack of opportunities, not a lack of intelligence, not a lack of talent. It is the silent, internal resistance created by their own fears. Fear whispers, what if you fail? Doubt whispers, what if you're not ready? Self-criticism whispers, what if you are not good enough? And without knowing it, these whispers become walls. These walls keep money out, keep confidence down, and keep dreams frozen in place. Prosperity is not something you chase. It is something you become aligned with, but you cannot align with abundance while holding a mind full of fear. Fear is a contraction. It tightens your energy, narrows your vision, and blinds you to the possibilities all around you. When fear rules you, even obvious opportunities appear risky, uncertain, or dangerous. You begin to play small, you hesitate, you delay. You miss chances that could have transformed your life simply because fear convinced you that you weren't ready. Fear does not stop the opportunity. It only stops you from stepping into it. Doubt is another thief of prosperity. Doubt drains your confidence, your clarity, your inner power. It makes you question your ideas, your abilities, your intuition. And when you doubt yourself, the world doubts you too. Money responds to certainty. It flows to the person who is bold, decisive, and aligned with their purpose. But doubt weakens your vibration. Doubt sends a message to the universe that you are unsure, unprepared, undeserving. And the universe mirrors that uncertainty back through delayed manifestations, missed chances, and stagnant conditions. Self-criticism is even more destructive because it attacks the foundation of your identity. It convinces you that you are unworthy of success. You tell yourself stories like, I always mess things up. I'm not one of those successful people. I can't handle big opportunities. I should be further in life by now. I don't deserve wealth. These stories become internal affirmations that operate like poison. They lower your self-worth and your self-esteem, and wealth cannot stay with someone who believes they are unworthy of it. Money flows to those who feel deserving, capable, and confident, not perfect, but deserving. The tragedy is that most fears are illusions. Most doubts are based on old experiences, not current reality. Most self-criticism comes from voices in your past that you accepted as truth. None of these inner blocks reflect who you really are. They reflect who you were taught to be. They reflect limitations others placed on you. They reflect wounds you never healed, rejections you never processed, failures you never forgave yourself for. And until these internal barriers are released, the flow of money will always feel blocked, slow, or inconsistent. The good news is that these blocks can be dissolved. They are not permanent. They are not your identity. They are simply thoughts, habits of the mind, that can be replaced with empowering beliefs. Fear weakens when you confront it. Doubt fades when you act despite it. Self-criticism transforms when you begin to treat yourself with compassion instead of judgment. The moment you decide, I will no longer be ruled by fear, you reclaim your power. The moment you decide, I trust myself, your inner vibration shifts. The moment you say, I am worthy, the flow of abundance begins to return. Fear often appears when you are close to growth. It is a signal that you are stepping into something bigger than your comfort zone. Instead of seeing fear as an enemy, you must see it as a signpost that says, you are expanding. When you walk forward anyway, you break the old pattern. You prove to yourself that fear does not control you. And when fear no longer controls you, prosperity begins to move freely. Doubt often appears when your dream requires you to evolve. Doubt tries to keep you small because your old self feels threatened by your new potential. But the moment you step into the unknown with faith, faith in yourself, faith in the process, faith in your divine path, you rise above the doubt. And once you rise above it, doubt loses its power. Self-criticism often appears because you learn to judge yourself before others could judge you. It is a defense mechanism that no longer serves you. You must learn to speak to yourself with the same kindness you would offer a friend. You must recognize that you are growing, learning, evolving. You must stop punishing yourself for past mistakes that were simply lessons. The more compassion you give yourself, the stronger your inner foundation becomes. And when your inner foundation is strong, wealth can finally rest upon it. Money flows to those who feel safe receiving it. Fear says it is not safe. Doubt says you can't handle it. Self-criticism says you don't deserve it. But your true self, the self beneath the conditioning, beneath the pain, beneath the old stories, knows that abundance is your birthright. You are not created for struggle. You are not designed for scarcity. You are not meant to live in survival mode. You were meant to expand, prosper, and express the fullness of your potential. When you begin releasing fear, your decisions become bold. When you release doubt, your ideas become inspired. When you release self-criticism, your confidence returns. And when you are confident, inspired, and bold, money cannot help but flow to you. Imagine a river. Abundance is that river. Your fears place rocks in the water. Your doubts add more stones. Your self-criticism piles them even higher. Soon the river becomes blocked, slow, and weak. But when you begin removing those stones, one thought at a time, one belief at a time, the river flows again. It rushes, it expands, it becomes vibrant. This is the nature of prosperity. It is always trying to reach you. It is always flowing toward you, but only a clear mind can receive it. Every time you choose faith over fear, a block dissolves. Every time you choose trust over doubt, a block dissolves. Every time you choose love over criticism, a block dissolves. And with each block that disappears, your connection to abundance becomes stronger, clearer, and more natural. Money is not resisting you. You have been resisting money, unconsciously, unintentionally, silently, but now you are becoming aware. Now you are rising above your old patterns. Now you are reclaiming the inner space where abundance flows freely. You do not need to fight for prosperity. You simply need to clear the path within yourself. Imagination is a blueprint of your financial future. You create wealth internally long before you experience it externally. Every great achievement that has shaped the world began as an image in someone's mind. Every invention, every business, every breakthrough, every fortune, before it ever took form in the physical world, it was first born in the invisible realm of imagination. Your imagination is not a place of fantasy, it is a place of creation. It is where ideas are formed, possibilities are shaped, and your future takes its earliest breath. People often underestimate the power of imagination because they are taught to value only what they can see. They trust what is physical, what is measurable, what is predictable, but the physical is only the final stage of creation. The true beginning happens in the unseen. Imagination is the spiritual workshop where you design the life you wish to experience. If you can see it clearly in your mind, you are already halfway to receiving it. If you cannot see it internally, you will struggle endlessly to manifest it externally. Imagination is the architect of your destiny. When you imagine yourself surrounded by abundance, living freely, making decisions from confidence rather than fear, You give your subconscious mind a target to move toward. The subconscious does not distinguish between real experiences and vividly imagined ones. When you hold a clear mental picture of prosperity, your subconscious begins adjusting your behavior, sharpening your awareness, and magnetizing opportunities that match the picture. You begin moving toward your vision without even realizing it. This is why the people who rise into wealth often say, "I always saw myself here." They were already living the reality mentally long before it materialized physically. Imagination is more than a mental picture. It is a vibration. The images you hold carry emotion, energy, and intention. When you imagine lack, fear, or disappointment, your body tightens, your heart contracts, and your energy becomes heavy. You send out a signal that repels abundance. But when you imagine wealth with clarity, joy, and gratitude, your energy expands. You become lighter, brighter, more receptive. The universe responds to that vibration. Opportunities that once seemed distant begin appearing. Ideas come effortlessly. People show up at the right moment. Your external world rearranges itself to match the inner picture you consistently hold. Most people use their imagination unconsciously, and unfortunately, they imagine the very things they fear. They visualize bills piling up. They visualize failure. They replay past mistakes. They imagine worst-case scenarios without realizing that each fearful image is planting seeds of unwanted outcomes. Worry is imagination used against yourself. Fear is imagination focused on loss. Self-doubt is imagination turned inward as an enemy. But the same imaginative force that creates fear can just as easily create abundance. The moment you direct imagination toward prosperity, you begin rewriting your future. The imagination is powerful because it bypasses logic. Logic says, be realistic. Imagination says, be limitless. Logic sees obstacles. Imagination sees possibilities. Logic measures your present circumstances. Imagination sees your potential. Logic keeps you confined to what you know. Imagination invites you into what you can become. Wealthy people do not rely solely on logic. They rely on vision. They know that the world adapts to those who dare to imagine beyond their current circumstances. Your imagination becomes a bridge between where you are and where you can be. When you visualize abundance, you begin to embody abundance. You straighten your posture, you speak with more confidence, you approach opportunities with more courage. Without even knowing it, you begin living as the version of yourself who is already successful. And the more you embody that version, the easier it becomes for reality to reflect it back. The key to powerful imagination is emotion. You must not only see the vision, you must feel it. Feel the joy of financial freedom. Feel the relief of abundance. Feel the excitement of opportunities pouring in. Feel the gratitude for money flowing easily and consistently. Emotion energizes imagination. It breathes life into the image. It sends the strongest signal to the universe that says, "This is real to me, this is mine." The more emotionally connected you are to the vision, the faster it manifests. Your imagination is a space where you can rehearse your future without fear of failure. You can practice confidence, success, wealth, and expansion in your mind until they feel normal, natural, familiar. When something feels familiar internally, it becomes easier to receive externally. This is why imagining abundance repeatedly is so transformative. It normalizes prosperity in your subconscious. It prepares your mind to accept it. It removes resistance. You stop feeling unworthy of success because success has already become part of your inner identity. People struggle financially when they are unable to imagine a life different from the one they currently have. They remain loyal to their limitations. They imprison themselves inside the same mental pictures of struggle, scarcity, and survival. They want abundance, but they cannot imagine abundance. They want freedom, but they cannot picture freedom. They want wealth, but their inner world is filled with pictures of the past. You cannot create a prosperous life from the images of lack that you replay in your mind. To change your life, you must change the pictures you hold within you. Imagination is also a form of faith. It is belief in motion. It is the ability to see the unseen, to trust the invisible, to honor the future before it arrives. When you imagine your financial life improving, you are affirming that better things are possible. When you imagine yourself achieving goals, you are expressing confidence in your abilities. When you imagine yourself rising into wealth, you are declaring that you are ready for more. The universe responds to faith-filled imagination with remarkable precision. Imagination opens doors that logic cannot. It introduces you to ideas that logic would never consider. It connects you to solutions that reasoning alone cannot discover. Many of the greatest financial breakthroughs come not through effort, but through inspired imagination. Moments where a sudden picture or idea flashes into your mind like a message from a higher realm. The imagination is not just your mind. It is a spiritual antenna. It receives possibilities that are aligned with your destiny. The future is not something that happens to you. The future is something you are already constructing through the images you dwell upon. If you hold images of struggle, you will walk into a future that matches them. If you hold images of abundance, abundance will begin shaping your path. You do not need to know how it will unfold. You simply need to honor the vision, believe in the vision, and consistently return to the vision. The vision will take care of the rest. When you claim prosperity, you rise above the noise of doubt, fear, and limitation. You step into a realm where what you speak becomes the raw material of what you receive. Most people do not understand the power of their own declaration. They speak lack and wonder why lack answers them. They speak fear and wonder why fear grows stronger. But when you begin to speak prosperity, not as a wish but as a law, as a truth, as an identity, something remarkable begins to shift. You stop waiting for life to give you permission, and instead you give life direction. You stop waiting for circumstances to approve your dreams, and instead you command your circumstances to align with your vision. When you say, "I am prosperous," you are not describing where you stand, you are creating where you are going. There is a divine authority within every individual that responds to certainty, not arrogance, not desperation, but certainty. When you speak with the conviction that you are supported, guided, supplied, and favored, the invisible forces of your life rearrange themselves to meet you at the level of your belief. Prosperity is not something you chase, it is something you claim. And the moment you claim it, the doors that once felt locked begin to open softly, silently, unexpectedly. You do not need to force anything, because prosperity is not achieved through strain. It is achieved through alignment. A person aligned with abundance is more powerful than a person struggling for it, because alignment flows while struggle fights. When you speak prosperity over your life, you are not lying to yourself. You are reminding your world what it owes you. You are reminding your destiny what you were created for. You are reminding your circumstances that they do not have the authority to define you unless you allow them to. Every "I am prosperous" is a declaration to the universe that you expect good, you welcome good, and you are prepared for good. And the universe, like a loyal servant, responds. Life is always reflecting you like a mirror reflects a face. Speak abundance, and abundance begins to look back at you. Speak wealth, and wealth begins to trace your steps, showing up in ideas, opportunities, moments, and connections that feel almost miraculous. Many people unknowingly cancel their good by adding fear to their words. They say, "I am blessed," then add, "but things are hard." They say, "I will succeed," then whisper, "if I'm lucky." They say, "I want more money," then quietly declare, "but money is hard to get." Every contradiction weakens the command. The universe obeys clarity, not confusion. When you claim prosperity boldly, purely, without apology or hesitation, you give your words the power to take form. You give your mind a blueprint to follow. You give your emotions a direction to support. You give your subconscious a target so vivid that it begins to look for openings, hints, paths, and solutions you never noticed before. And this is where the transformation becomes visible. Opportunities that once seemed invisible begin to enter your awareness. People who can open doors start crossing your path. Ideas arrive at unexpected moments. And you begin to feel something profound, a quiet confidence, a grounded knowing, an inner calm that whispers, "My prosperity is inevitable." Not because of luck, not because of chance, not because of circumstance, but because you have spoken it into being with unwavering authority. But claiming prosperity requires more than repeating words. It requires embodying them. You must walk with the posture of a prosperous person. You must think with the clarity of someone who expects success. You must speak as someone who knows their value. You must release the energy of someone who is not intimidated by abundance but comfortable with it. When you speak prosperity, it should feel like truth rolling off your tongue, not a fantasy. And the more you affirm it, the more your vibration matches it. The more your vibration matches it, the more your experiences reflect it. You become magnetic, magnetic to money, magnetic to ideas, magnetic to blessings, magnetic to progress, magnetic to people who elevate your life instead of draining it. Prosperity begins to flow not in a sudden explosion, but in a rising tide. Day by day, thought by thought, belief by belief, you expand your capacity to receive. You start to notice that you are not triggered by lack in the same way. You are not shaken by delays in the same way. You are not intimidated by challenges in the same way, because you have learned to claim your identity before your reality. And identity always wins. There will be moments when circumstances contradict your declaration. There will be days when it seems like the flow is slow, the progress is quiet, and the blessings are delayed. But this is where most people fail to understand the spiritual mechanics of prosperity. When you claim prosperity, life begins rearranging itself. Old situations dissolve, old beliefs crumble, old limitations break. And that breaking can feel uncomfortable, but it is not your failure, it is your preparation. Prosperity requires space. When your life is being cleared for abundance, it may feel like loss, but it is an opening. It may feel like emptiness, but it is a container being built. It may feel like stillness, but it is the soil beneath your new blessings settling into place. In these moments, your declaration becomes your anchor. You do not whisper prosperity, you declare it even louder. You do not retract your words, you reinforce them. You do not go back to old thinking, you step even deeper into your new identity. Because claiming prosperity is not a moment, it is a lifestyle. It is not something you do when things are good. It is something you do to make things good. The more consistent your declaration, the more consistent your results. Prosperity responds to firmness. It responds to unwavering belief. It responds to the person who refuses to negotiate their worth. Speak prosperity as if the world is listening, because it is. Speak prosperity as if heaven is listening, because it is. Speak prosperity as if your future self is depending on it, because it is. And every time you do, you shape your path, elevate your destiny, and create a life that reflects your inner truth. Not the truth of fear, not the truth of lack, but the truth of abundance that has always been your inheritance. Claim it, speak it, embody it, and prosperity will not only come, it will stay. There is a force within you that responds to images, ideas, and inner pictures far more strongly than it responds to logic. The mind thinks in pictures, and the pictures you hold the longest become the experiences you live the soonest. This is why the practice of visualizing wealth is far more than wishful thinking. It is spiritual architecture. It is the process of building your future in the unseen so that it may appear in the seen. When a person holds a picture of abundance with clarity and emotion, they activate a law that has existed since creation itself. What you vividly imagine, you magnetize. What you magnetize, you draw forth. What you draw forth eventually becomes your reality. Most people misuse this power without realizing it. They visualize fear, so fear finds them. They visualize debt, so debt grows. They visualize struggle, so struggle multiplies. But when you choose to visualize wealth, not from desperation, but from conviction, you send a signal that reorganizes the very energy around your life. You become a transmitter of prosperity. You shift your inner vibration from wanting to welcoming, from longing to expecting, from hoping to knowing. And expectation is a powerful spiritual force. Expectation bends the unseen. Expectation summons opportunities. Expectation makes room for blessings that were waiting for your permission to enter. To visualize wealth effectively, you must feel it, not just see it. Close your eyes and imagine the version of you who is already financially free. How do you walk? How do you think? How do you speak? How do you make decisions? How do you hold your shoulders? How do you respond to challenges? This version of you exists in the realm of possibility, and when you enter that version through imagination, you begin to adopt its energy. That energy becomes your vibration, and your vibration becomes your magnet. Some believe that wealth comes only from effort, strategy, or hard work, but the truth is more profound. Wealth comes first from alignment, and alignment begins in the mind. The wealth you see internally becomes the wealth you attract externally. When you visualize consistently, you are programming your subconscious to recognize doors that others walk past. You are training your mind to detect opportunities that once blended into the background. You are preparing your spirit to receive what it once doubted it deserved. Visualization is the rehearsal before the performance. It is the blueprint before the building. It is the seed before the harvest. And this inner work begins to show in your outer world. You notice that you no longer shrink from abundance, you grow toward it. You no longer question your value, you affirm it. You no longer fear large sums of money, you feel comfortable with them. You no longer push prosperity away with unworthiness, you invite it with confidence. You stop treating wealth like a distant dream and begin interacting with it as an intimate reality. Your language shifts. Your posture shifts, your decisions shift, your expectations shift, and everything around you adjusts in response. But visualization is not effective when done without emotion. Emotion is the electricity of creation. It is the power behind your picture. If you visualize without feeling, you sketch the image but do not bring it to life. When you add emotion, joy, gratitude, confidence, anticipation, you breathe spirit into your vision. You turn a picture into a command. You transform imagination into intention. And intention cannot return empty. It must return with form. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. At first, your old beliefs may resist. They may whisper, "This isn't real, this is impossible, this is silly." But those whispers are not truth, they are simply the echoes of old conditioning. And every time you visualize, you weaken the old and strengthen the new. You are not pretending to be wealthy, you are remembering that you were never meant to be limited. You are not creating something out of nothing, you are aligning with what already exists in the spiritual realm. Wealth is not created, it is claimed, and visualization is one of the ways you claim it. There will come a moment when the visualization begins to feel natural, almost familiar. You will catch yourself thinking thoughts that match the wealth you imagine. You will find your choices reflecting the person you see in your mind. You will notice your speech aligning with prosperity, your confidence growing, your fear dissolving. And that is the moment the inner world begins converting into the outer world. Wealth will start showing up in ways that may seem ordinary at first, an idea you suddenly understand, a business opportunity you notice, a connection that appears, a financial breakthrough that arrives at the perfect time. It will feel like coincidence, but it is not coincidence, it is alignment. You will begin to see signs, small confirmations that your vision is taking root. Money will flow more easily. Solutions will appear faster. Ideas will feel clearer. You will have moments of deep inner knowing that something wonderful is on its way. These are not fantasies, they are spiritual signals. They are reminders that the picture you hold is transforming the world you walk in. The inner image is carving the outer path, but consistency is the key. A garden grows through daily attention, not occasional interest. The same is true for visualization. When you visualize once, you create a spark. When you visualize daily, you create a fire, and that fire becomes the force that ignites the opportunities, the ideas, the connections, and the circumstances that lead you to wealth. You are not trying to control how the wealth arrives, you are controlling your alignment so that the wealth can arrive. When your inner world becomes rich, the outer world follows like a shadow follows light. You must choose to believe in your vision more than your fear. You must choose to trust the picture you see in your mind more than the conditions you see in your life. You must choose to honor the future calling you rather than the past limiting you. The mind will always reflect the image you give it the longest. Give it a picture of wealth, and it will sculpt your beliefs, your emotions, your actions, and your opportunities to match it. Wealth is not outside you, it grows from inside you until it is too large to stay invisible. Every day, spend time living in the world you are creating. Feel the freedom, feel the ease, feel the confidence, feel the joy, feel the abundance. Let your inner world overflow so powerfully that your outer world has no choice but to catch up. And when it does, it will feel like destiny, but it will be the result of every picture you held, every emotion you felt, every belief you strengthened, and every moment you decided that your mind was not a place for fear, but a home for prosperity. There comes a moment on every person's journey when the path forward seems to blur, when progress slows, when the world feels still and unresponsive. This is the moment most people interpret as failure, as a sign that they are moving in the wrong direction, as proof that their desire is too big or too unrealistic. But this moment is not a barrier, it is a spiritual checkpoint. It is the universe asking, do you truly believe in what you are asking for? Do you trust the path even when you cannot see the steps? Because faith that only exists when everything is easy is not faith, it is convenience. Real faith is forged in uncertainty, strengthened in silence, and proven when nothing around you reflects what you have declared. When you learn to trust the process, even when the process feels invisible, you master one of the highest forms of wealth consciousness. Trusting the process means understanding that the universe often rearranges your life before it rewards your life. You may lose people, routines, or situations that no longer align with your future. You may experience delays that force you to build patience, discipline, and emotional maturity. You may encounter challenges that shape you into someone capable of sustaining the abundance you are asking for. Nothing is wasted, nothing is random, nothing is punishment. Everything that happens on the way to your manifestation is part of your preparation. When you learn to trust this preparation, your frustration transforms into acceptance, and your acceptance transforms into clarity. You stop doubting the path and start realizing that you are being shaped, elevated, and refined. The truth is, the universe will never deliver a blessing you are not ready to hold. If your mindset is small, you cannot carry something large. If your belief is weak, you cannot sustain something powerful. If your habits are chaotic, you cannot manage something abundant. So when the universe slows you down, it is building you up. When it tests your patience, it is strengthening your roots. When it removes people, it is clearing the path. When it closes doors, it is protecting you from the wrong rooms. And when it delays your breakthrough, it is aligning the perfect timing, because true abundance does not arrive when you want it, but when you are prepared for it. Learning to trust the process means letting go of the need to control every detail. Control is a form of fear. It is the mind saying, I do not trust that things will work unless I force them. But abundance does not respond to force, it responds to flow. When you release control, you make space for possibilities you never could have orchestrated on your own. You open the door to divine timing, divine alignment, divine coincidences. You allow opportunities to unfold instead of pushing them. You stop gripping your desires with anxiety and instead cradle them with confidence. This shift is subtle, but it is powerful. A person who trusts the process walks differently. Their energy is calm, their decisions are grounded, and their words carry authority. They are no longer begging the universe, they are working with it. Trust elevates your vibration. It tells the universe that you expect good even when you cannot yet see it, and expectation is magnetic. When you trust deeply, you begin to attract results more quickly because your energy no longer resists your own desire. Fear blocks blessings, doubt slows blessings, anxiety delays blessings, but trust opens the channel. Trust creates a spiritual pathway that allows what is yours to reach you with ease. And sometimes the blessings appear suddenly, almost instantly, not because they arrived randomly, but because you finally stopped blocking them with worry and allowed them to enter. But trust does not mean passivity. It does not mean sitting and doing nothing. It does not mean abandoning action. Trust means doing your part with confidence and letting the universe do its part without interference. It means acting from faith rather than fear, from purpose rather than panic, from intuition rather than insecurity. When you trust the process, your actions become more powerful because they are not tangled with doubt. You make decisions with clarity. You speak with conviction. You move with intention, and the world responds accordingly. There will be days when everything seems quiet, when nothing appears to be happening. These are the days that test your spirit. These are the days when your old patterns try to pull you back into fear, scarcity, and impatience. These are the days when many people abandon their dreams because they mistake silence for failure. But silence is not a sign that nothing is happening. Silence is often the sign that everything is happening behind the scenes. Seeds grow in silence. Transformations begin in silence. New paths are prepared in silence. And miracles approach quietly before they appear loudly. When you trust the process, you begin to see signs, small confirmations, subtle shifts, moments of alignment that whisper, "Keep going." You may meet someone unexpectedly who encourages your path. You may receive an idea that sparks a new direction. You may feel a sudden burst of clarity or inspiration. These signs are not coincidences. They are spiritual reassurances. They are reminders that the universe has heard you, seen your effort, recorded your intention, and is working in your favor. Trust transforms these signs into fuel, giving you the strength to move forward even when the destination seems far. There is also a deeper layer to trusting the process, trusting yourself, trusting your intuition, trusting your inner wisdom, trusting that you know more than you think you do, trusting that your vision is valid, trusting that your desire was placed within you for a reason. People often lose trust in the journey because they do not trust themselves to walk it. They mistake uncertainty for inability. They confuse slow progress with incompetence. They assume that because they have never created something before, they cannot create it now. But every creator, every leader, every visionary has felt uncertainty. The difference is that they trusted themselves enough to keep moving. Trust does not remove challenges, but it keeps you from collapsing under them. It does not eliminate difficulty, but it allows you to move through difficulty with dignity. It does not guarantee an easy path, but it guarantees a meaningful one. And meaning is far more valuable than convenience. Meaning builds character. Meaning builds resilience. Meaning builds the kind of strength that can carry wealth, influence, and success without losing balance. The moment you decide to trust fully, deeply, without hesitation, something profound unlocks. Your energy becomes lighter, your vision feels clearer, your intuition sharpens, your confidence grows. You begin to feel supported rather than abandoned, guided rather than lost, empowered rather than overwhelmed, and in this state of trust, your manifestations begin to arrive faster, smoother, and with more grace than you ever imagined. Trusting the process is the bridge between desire and manifestation. It is the inner stability that attracts outer abundance. It is the spiritual maturity that transforms wishful thinking into powerful creation. And once you master it, you no longer chase wealth. Wealth flows toward you because you have become aligned with its frequency. There is a secret to abundance that few ever learn. You receive in proportion to what you believe you deserve. Not what you hope for, not what you wish for, what you believe. Deep down, beneath your confidence, beneath your ambition, beneath your affirmations, there is an inner verdict you have given yourself, and that verdict decides how much love, wealth, opportunity, success, and freedom you allow into your life. When a person raises their sense of worthiness, they instantly expand the size of the blessings they can hold. But when their worthiness is low, even the greatest opportunities slip through their fingers. They reject them, sabotage them, or shrink away from them without knowing why. Worthiness is the gatekeeper of abundance, the silent architect of your financial destiny. To step into wealth, you must step into the version of yourself who feels worthy of wealth. You must believe that you deserve every good thing you are asking for. You must believe that your gifts matter, that your voice matters, that your intuition matters, that your dreams matter. When you walk with a small sense of worth, the world mirrors that smallness back to you. You attract situations that match your inner self-evaluation. You tolerate treatment that reflects your inner doubts. You accept opportunities that match your fear instead of your potential. Life, in many ways, does not give you what you desire, it gives you what you are willing to receive. Raising your worthiness begins with recognizing where it has been damaged. Many people were taught that wanting wealth is selfish, that success is sinful, that abundance is only for certain kinds of people. Others were told, directly or indirectly, that they were not enough, not talented enough, not intelligent enough, not worthy enough. And these inner wounds follow them silently into adulthood. They become invisible barriers that repel abundance long before it has the chance to arrive. When you ask for prosperity while secretly believing you don't deserve it, you create an inner conflict that blocks your manifestation. Your words say yes, but your energy says no, and the universe always listens to energy. But when you choose to raise your worthiness, everything begins to shift. Your energy becomes receptive. Your mind becomes open. Your decisions become aligned with your greater self. You stop playing small. You stop apologizing for your desires. You stop dimming your light for people who prefer shadows. When you feel deserving, you stop chasing opportunities and start selecting them. You stop begging for approval and start expecting respect. You stop shrinking your dreams to fit your reality and begin expanding your reality to fit your dreams. A person with high worthiness speaks differently. They speak calmly, clearly, confidently. Their I desire turns into I deserve. Their I hope becomes I expect. Their maybe becomes absolutely. They stop using language that weakens their identity, words like just, only, or if I'm lucky. They speak with the tone of someone who knows they belong at the table, not someone hoping for permission to enter the room, and the world hears that tone. People sense it. Opportunities respond to it. Money recognizes it. Worthiness is a frequency, and when you raise it, you broadcast a signal that calls abundance toward you. But worthiness is not inflated pride. It is not arrogance. It is not superiority. It is the quiet, steady understanding that your existence holds value. It is the recognition that you are not an accident, not an outsider, not an afterthought. You are a channel for good. You are a vessel for abundance. You are a carrier of gifts that were placed within you with purpose. And when you honor those gifts, you honor the source that placed them there. To raise your worthiness, you must first release the beliefs that contradict it. You must release the stories that were never yours. You must release the voices that taught you smallness. You must release the guilt that makes you resist prosperity. Many people desire wealth but feel guilty for wanting it. They feel guilty for wanting comfort, freedom, ease, or luxury. They feel guilty for wanting more than what they were raised with. But guilt repels abundance because guilt says, I am not worthy of receiving more than what I already have. When you remove this guilt, you remove the block that has kept abundance at arm's length. A major part of worthiness is self-respect. When you respect yourself, you no longer entertain situations that drain you. You no longer negotiate your value. You no longer invest your time in people who exploit your kindness or undervalue your abilities. You no longer allow your energy to be scattered in directions that do not support your growth. Every time you say no to something unworthy of you, you say yes to something greater. Every time you walk away from what diminishes you, you step closer to what elevates you. The universe responds to your boundaries the same way a river responds to a dam. It flows where you direct it. Another part of raising worthiness is self-trust. You must trust that your intuition is guiding you. You must trust that your desires are meaningful. You must trust that your path is unfolding exactly as it should. You must trust that your voice matters enough to be heard. People with low worthiness second-guess everything. They hesitate, they doubt, they wait for permission, they look for validation. They shrink from opportunities because they fear failure, or even worse, they fear success. But people with strong worthiness trust themselves enough to leap. They trust their ideas enough to express them. They trust their vision enough to pursue it. They trust that they can learn, adapt, grow, and rise. And as your worthiness grows, so does your capacity to receive. You begin to feel comfortable with larger goals. You begin to feel comfortable with wealth. You begin to feel comfortable with success. You stop assuming that blessings will slip away, and you start expecting them to remain. You stop feeling nervous around opportunity, and you start feeling prepared for it. You stop feeling shocked by good news, and you begin feeling grateful but unsurprised. This inner comfort is a powerful signal to the universe. I am ready for more. You no longer manifest from desperation, you manifest from identity. You no longer hope for abundance, you align with abundance. You no longer chase wealth, wealth flows toward you because you finally believe that you deserve it. Worthiness is a magnet, and when